Okay.
Hello, everybody. Here we are for another Saturday Night Live family gathering Q&A. We don't have anybody scheduled today, so it's all for you guys. I've done enough blabbering. Let's hear some stuff from your ends. With Easter's tomorrow, some of us are already there, depending where we are. You know, we celebrate that. You know, I'm not for any religion because we're all praying to the same God, and all those religions have done is separate humanity, just like everything else. It's time that humanity moves forward with the peace, balance, and correct conduct. It's the only way I can see anything moving forward. The stuff that's going on, the pollution on the planet and the oceans and everywhere else, the killings and the warmongers. Time's got to change, guys. It's the only.
You know, it's the people in power. It's not the religion.
It's the people that's supporting all these things. We need to be the change from within and move forward because we can't keep going like this. It's crazy when you see what's going on out there. It's just insane. But anyway, anybody got some questions, statements, experiences? The Zoom is for you guys, not for me. Go ahead, Carrie. Unmute your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I'm starting MFS tomorrow, and I've just been making some calcium water, and I couldn't read in the protocol. Does it say how many times can you use that cup of calcium?
Calcium, the carbonate itself, you can go for months.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. 3 to 6 months, as Michelle says, is good, you know, to change if you're doing small amounts. So, you know, that time frame, you can, you know, add maybe a little bit extra to freshen up depending how big your container is. And, you know, we're using the energy of calcium, just like, you know, we're doing anything else with plasma. We're not using the actual calcium. Like I measured the parts per million before and after, and it went up very, very small amounts. I don't remember the number, but if anybody has a TDS meter, they can check. It was maybe like 20 to 30 parts per million, which is nothing. You know, so it's the energy that we're after of the calcium water. And, you know, we're not drinking it. We're using it for making teas. If you want to use it for enemas, soak your feet in it in a bath, stuff like that. Sorry, I got a olive pit in my mouth because it's the only way I can keep my mouth dry when I do a lot of talking.
Okay, so you're just taking it from the top all the time.
Right. You wait till it settles. You wait till it settles. And scoop it out or pour it out gently, and then just keep filling it up.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. You know, it's if you make your tea with it, I've noticed that the tea will last longer if you make big batches. It's a really nice energy with the calcium water. That's Michelle Gibson's discovery when she was trying to find a way to solve, I think it was goats that were having a problem, and some ferrets or something with the bones. And she noticed that animals in nature would go towards these calcium ponds, or, you know, lakes or whatever that had rich of calcium carbonate. And so she tried, you know, doing that, and that's how it worked. The best water to use is what she found is rainwater, because you get the gradient effect, because rainwater today is usually neutral to acidic. So if you use something that's an alkaline side, you're not going to get that gradient to have the energetic effect, plasmatic effect.
Well, I've just filled up my distiller to do it. I mean, I've used mineral water tonight, but tomorrow I'll have a big jug of distilled, so
Mhm.
I'll use
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, distilled water would probably be a better option. If you can collect rainwater, if you're not in a big city, but from some of the research that Michelle has done, the Aborigines and stuff, they used to use all this calcium type of water to purify everything. Supposedly, it will purify water even if there's contaminants in it. Don't hold me for my word on that, but you guys can get it tested. If, like, for example, if you're in a city and you collect rainwater, more than likely it's contaminated with something. If you put it through the calcium process, and go get it checked after, you see how it comes out. I know with the Ganses, there's many tests, and the water comes out, pure drinking water after you energetically process it with GANs, any of the GANs materials. There's many tests that have been done with the water and the Ganses. I don't know about the calcium, but Michelle said it does the same. So if somebody wants to do those tests, if they're interested, they can go ahead. But this is how we're going to find out, the real stuff. It's not through the scientific papers from the corporate funded stuff and government funded. We're going to do it ourselves. If you're going to rely on the other stuff, we'll be enslaved even more. So we take the matters in our own hand, and we work on a system that produces results, a results-based system, not a paper PhD-based system where everybody's getting sicker and sicker, and just getting fed more and more and more. So we're doing the opposite, and it works. It works pretty good, better than anything I've seen out there. A lot of new things are coming out through the plasma science over the next few years. We're going to see pretty amazing stuff. Don't be surprised if we start seeing flights start happening with plasma technology this year or anytime soon, because we're on the verge of that as well. And once that is achieved, food will be a thing of the past, because once you can achieve this, what they call the spaceship, which is no matter involved, the spaceship will be totally of plasma. You can create anything you need, whether it's any element, water, energy as food, help somebody with any ailment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why we focus on energy and not matter, because matter is futile, it's limited. It's only a transition period for that we're here to come and learn and experience and move on back into the light. There's a reason why we're here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So it's all interesting and wonderful, and life would be boring if we didn't have all these challenges. So let's make the best of it. Anybody else? Anything else, Carrie?
No, all good.
Have you gone through the material, Carrie?
Yeah, well, I just decided about 9 o'clock tonight to start tomorrow. I mean, I've had all the stuff and I've read through before, but I don't know. I watched a clip on somebody's website about the full moon, and it just seemed like a really powerful one. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to jump in. And then I saw Manny's post about she was starting tomorrow, and we've been in contact. So I thought, you know what, it feels right. I'm just going to do it. And then I got really excited. And so I've just been, making kidney tea, getting my tinctures ready, reading a bit. I haven't done my goals yet, so I'll have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing for everybody. Should be.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Well, London originally, but I now live in Swanage down by the sea, so it's nice here.
All right.
Why did you decide to do the master fast?
Well, when I was in my early 20s, I'm 53 now, but when I was in my early 20s, I read Arnold Ehret,
Ah,
and it just really I found it amazing. And so all these years, I've always wanted to go on a long fast. And as time has gone by, I've just thought it would probably be more and more impossible, really. Whenever I looked on, stuff with people doing long fast, it seemed pretty horrific, really. Lots of 40-day water fasts and near deaths and weird stuff. And I just thought, maybe I'll never do it. And then I was for some reason, I got onto Dr. Robert Morse. And then for some reason, I got onto Geno's. And then I just completely immersed myself in all the Zooms. And I thought, yeah, it can be done. And it's a great support system. And yeah, just reading up again and again.
Well, I can tell you it is much easier than eating.
Well, I can believe that. I mean, somebody posted a few weeks ago, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said, food shits on my life. And I thought, you know what? I actually know what she means. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you really stand back and look at what's gone on with the whole food thing, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It controls everybody's life, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everybody's got what do they call it? Behavioral problems around food. It's it's.
Yeah, and you don't realize it until you fast and eat and then fast and eat and fast and eat. And then you, like, now going back on a long fast again. I'm like,
why?
Why? No, forget why. Just like forget everybody else. It proves to me over and over again that we don't need to eat. Humans don't need, are not meant to eat. Are not meant to eat. And that's why when we eat, like for me at least, my experience was just like it takes everything, really, not just your energy here, but like your time, it really is very distracting. And then you have all this freedom once you're off from, for longer and longer and longer. And then you're like, my goodness, I'm not even hungry. I'm not thirsty. I'm not nothing. I can do so much more. This is not what we're meant to do. It's just wrong. It becomes wrong over time. Now, not everybody's even thinking about giving up food, but I'm just saying, you will realize this, and I'm sure that everybody will realize it at some point if you stay on this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, it's somebody coming from a sad diet. We've had many jump in and do 108 days, and soon realize once they go back to food, holy geez, what am I doing? But it's it's going to be a transition for most people of going through different experiences, falling off the wagon a little bit here and there, and trying to convince themselves that they need to eat. And we're all going down that path, and it's okay because we're so indoctrinated and programmed that we have to, we believe that we eat. We don't have that complete faith that we don't need physical food, and that's the challenge. And it's okay. It's okay. So we're doing it wisely. We're doing it through a lifestyle of less is more. And how do we do it? We start cleaning. And then once you start cleaning, the truth of the matter starts coming to your face. It comes to light, especially after you do a long one and you go back to the food. This is where everybody has the big challenges because, got quite a few sad eaters. Been 108 days, no ifs, ands, or buts. They get off and they're cursing at everybody, except looking in the mirror because they didn't listen to what we're, what we're, guiding people and mentoring on what this is, lifestyle. That's all we, shared right from the start. You want to jump in, do a 40-day fast and disappear, go back. Yeah, you can do it, but it's going to be a wake-up call, even 40 days on this program because it cleans like nothing else. And it's amazing to experience that. Yeah, Rana.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say it's a big trap, at least for me. After Master Fast Weekly, I was able to control, but it was always a big trap when I go back to eating. So it's not easy for everybody, no matter which diet you come from. And when I started the Master Fast, I had no idea that I would want to ever say what I'm saying today. Like you give up food. I always loved the idea of making food or just looking at food and the fruits, especially when you're eating raw food, you go crazy for your food. You love it so much. But it just, of course, I would say everybody would agree that when you fast, it's much easier than when you eat. And if you just stay on this lifestyle, you will come to the conclusion. You don't need anybody to tell you anything. You will just live it. You will feel it, and you will make up your own conclusions. You don't need to read a book. You don't need to do anything anymore. And when you're trapped, you can be trapped for a long time, maybe a year. And some people, I think, a year after they finish the 108, they're not going to do anymore. They don't want to do anymore. So it's been a year of being trapped or something, like something like that. Yeah, I was trapped for maybe a few months. But honestly, guys, from the first day I started eating, the first day, the second day, I'm like, nope, I want to get back on the fast. Maybe I don't get back on the fast because it's I'm trapped, or I do shorter ones and I fall, and short one fall, short one fall, until I do a longer one. So it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy to be committed. Make sure you have this in mind before you start. That it's not easy, and you're going to be trapped.
No, you're not going to be trapped. You got to make your commitment, and you make it day by day because, and of course, you have your goals written out for 9 years. But every day you make your commitment for, today I'm not eating, and move forward, and one day at a time. That's all you can focus on because you're starting to put in your head that I'm never going to eat food again. You're going to stress yourself out emotionally, and it's not going to happen. It's going to reverse and create the opposite in your life, and you're going to go nuts eating everything and anything. In society, we're surrounded by people socializing for any which reason, and there's food everywhere, and that's the challenge. If you're on your own in the middle of nowhere, you won't have these challenges. It's environment dictates outcome. So we live in these environments, most of us, and it's a huge challenge. I can say from experience, when I was on my own, I had no issues, none. I was 100% raw for way over 9.5 years, and then the last several years after that, I was pretty much mostly raw. I didn't have these issues. Now that there's with other people and there's food everywhere, it just affects you. And you need to make your commitments because you need to reinforce that because it's around you. And these fields are around you, whether you're eating it or not. You're smelling them. The energies, they're there. When you're walking out and going to the buy food places and everything, it's a little bit different. When it's in your own home, you're surrounded by this stuff. So I can see where, a lot of people have challenges where, they're not well and they're trying to heal and the whole family's eating everything that they're not supposed to eat. It's a big challenge. I feel for these people, but It can be done. It's just you really need to set yourself and have your goals very, very clear. The biggest challenge is when they start eating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by saying you're going to be trapped, I don't mean that you're going to fail. You're going to fall, but you're not going to fail unless you really want to fail. If you want to fail, you can fail, right? Your wish is your command. Whatever you want, you can achieve. But it's always challenging when you break it fast.
Some people have gone pretty smooth. It all depends. It's just there's no mathematical equation on who's going to feel what, because emotion ultimately is the creator. And we have a lineage of history from our ancestors on both ends, all the way down to ab initio, beginning of time. So that all has a play that we're carrying. And environment, of course. And then all the foods that we've eaten in our whole life, they all have imprinted memory in every single bite. That's another thing we're dealing with. And these all start coming to the surface as we start fasting. And every fast we start doing, we start stripping the layers deeper and deeper, is what I found through my experience. That's all I can talk about. You start going deeper and deeper into the layers. So the newest stuff comes out through the surface to be dumped earlier, and then the older stuff takes much longer. So it goes in layers like peeling an onion. And, we've had people bring up, things that 30, 40 years from their childhood, and then all kinds of stuff once they start cleansing. It's a beautiful thing to allow yourself to be able to release it, because these are the things that give us all these imbalances and lead us to sickness and disease, or whatever the hell they want to call it. It's just, I only see balance and imbalance. So we strive for balance, because that's what the universe is based on. Anything that's imbalanced is always seeking balance. And there's others that are always seeking to help balance others, because it's a giving and the receiving system the universe works on. And the giving's the first, is how creation is started. Nothing happens without giving. And that's the way we're allowed to receive, and how everything seeks balance in the plasma world. But it's just amazing to see things come to play, and when people start getting what we're sharing, you can see how the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, because some people have been searching and trying different things for many, many, many years without resolutions. And once you start having the taste that, wow, starting to get some balance here, everything starts changing. There's going to be dips, of course, but the dips I've explained explained a few times. They start out very erratic when you start fasting. Your highs and your lows, very erratic. And as time goes on, it starts mellowing out a little bit until you come to a point after several years where it smoothens out. It's never going to be smooth. It's going to become to an elegant dance, like with the stars. It stops being erratic, that crazy erraticness, because there's nothing that's perfectly balanced. There's always that seeking the balance, and everything is, I don't know if we should use the word feeding each other, and helping balance each other. That's the way the universe operates and continues to be in motion for perpetuity. There's always that slight imbalance, so things can work and move and have that give and take continuously. Because once balance achieved, then the whole universe would fall. It would stop rotating. So we can't have that, because that's not the way it operates. Like the atoms continuously has the nucleus spinning within. No food, no waste, no engine, no wings. We're made of atoms, and each atom is a plasma. So that energy is infinite source from one creation, I like to call it. It's a beautiful thing once we start having these new understandings. But working with energy is something that is not simple for us to do. most of us, including myself, we always fall back in the matter state. And I have to catch myself, the more you catch yourself, the more you'll do it. Thinking in terms of fields. Okay, so forget about the matter. Let's look at what's happening with the fields here in whatever scenario, because the matter is a very limited viewing window, and it's only going to lead you to confusion. This is why our advanced science today, mainstream science, is changing all the time, because it's not based on any truths. You can't base your truths on what's happening in the effect, what we see in matter. We have to go beyond and where everything is created. So here he is again. So yeah, that's the way I like to look at things. And it's interesting when you start looking at that perspective. Not that we have all the answers, by far we don't. We're just scratching the surface of understanding it, and with the little that we understand, we've been able to come leaps and bounds from where we were. So it's a beautiful thing to see that. My friend Giovanni in Italy, whose daughter was in so-called accident and her boyfriend was killed, was brain dead and in palliative care, and he's got her back, after a year and a half, tube out of her, walking. I don't remember if he said she's talking. He's just working with plasma fields, not working with any diet or anything. Excuse me one sec. Take over.
Okay. Maybe Peter and Brian, Bree, you can guys maybe talk a little bit about your starting your fast. Are you starting your fast soon?
Yes,
I think you I read a post today that you're starting tomorrow or today.
No, it's been dry today. We started off with our bubbly and dry today. So yeah, because I guess partly because we wanted to start the fast on Easter Sunday. We wanted to be having started the day before, so Easter Sunday. For both Peter and I, we feel it's special because of that message of rebirth. Yeah. So
nice.
when we talk about rebirth, then the fast is the place to experience it, isn't it?
Nice, very nice.
Really, so that we were already in the process on Easter morning.
Cool. So you're going to church, or you're just going to do at home prayers and things like that?
Well, we have to. We haven't decided fully because we have a friend there's a circle, a sharing circle that we go to sometimes, and it's the first Sunday of every month, which is tomorrow. So we can go there, or we can go to find a little church, because we're like Gina, we're not religious.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
About religion,
yeah.
About uncovering that Christ consciousness.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, we can go to church, find it there, because it's not in the church, it's in here, or we can go to the circle and find it there because it's here. Whatever we feel drawn to tomorrow is where we'll go. We have choices. Yeah, where Christ consciousness leads. It led us to Master Fast, so trust it to lead us always. The more we work to uncover it and to be in with it, as Gina always says, peace, correct conduct, and when you focus on trying to be or being in contact with that, then and trust that you will be where you're meant to be. think that's how it works. Yeah. Well, for me, anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
Great, yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely to be starting. We both feel very drawn. We've played around with doing a 9-day this 9-day cycle for the last. This is our third month, and we both feel it's been interesting. Definitely going from the non-eating to the eating phase has been an interesting. And by the time we get to the end of the month, it's just in that short period of doing it 3 times. We've noticed we're so looking forward to getting back on just the juice again. It's crazy. And if you would have asked me that, I was very much, when I first started getting more into the longer, deeper fast and came across the master fast, because I'd done a lot with the Morse approach, for 2 or 3 years. I was already, doing quite long juice fasts and things. But when I started when I did the long master fast, I've done 2 fairly long ones. I noticed there was a huge leap for me in noticing that it very much became the problem wasn't the difficulty in myself wasn't the not eating. It was much more when I started eating again and noticing that I thought that emotional side, was, I'd done quite a lot of work on myself over the years, but just noticing it is a big change when we start to really look at this connection we've got, the emotional relationship with our food is, and so we're very ready to do a longer fast, and it feels for me certainly a kind of relief to be getting back on that, and we'll see where it goes. We're not setting too many sort of long-term, like Gina was saying, it is very much day by day, and we've got clear goals, but we're not let it unfold. See how things end up.
Yeah, not everybody's going to do 108 days off the bat, and that's okay. It's just a lot of people just think fasting in general is crazy. They just don't have the understanding. They're not, educated on fasting itself, so that's okay. It's something very strange. I remember the first time I heard about fasting, a coworker, she was on this, 3-4 day fast or something, and I thought it was ludicrous because I had never missed a meal in my life at that point. It was my early 20s, 21 or something, 22. Oh, are you crazy? You're not going out food for 3 days. It's just funny when you look back at those times, but so we understand where people are coming from, but once you've lived this for so long, there's absolutely no doubt of what's going on. I see very little confidence in fasting in general and around the globe. Very few people really understand what fasting is and how the body can actually, repair all itself, but it's not the actual physicality. It's the soul doing all the work. And that's the thing that's missing. Everybody's always looking at the physical. I see these millions of these posts. So 3 days completely restores your immune system. 3 days for a week, a whole bunch of bull crap. They're looking at blood and cells. It has nothing to do with your spirit. It has nothing to do with fasting. Most of the spiritual gurus, what do they do? And what do they, mentor people fasting? A lot of great minds from the past. And the reason for it is, to connect. We're always connected to soul, but to clear that matter fog that's not allowing us to see it clearly. When I eat, not much information comes through. I get on a fast, bang, and just information is opened up more and more. That's the way it is for me. Others can see no matter what they eat, but that's not me. And I found in general, most people, when they cleanse and they do fast, they clear up. just like I experienced. That's most of the population. There's few, clairvoyants can see no matter what they're eating and everything. That's what a gift or whatever they have. But fasting definitely allows clear connection and bringing that information in plain sight, like I like to say, because it's always there. Why don't we always see it? Many reasons, but we can live a lifestyle so we can have clear understanding. And this is why I keep saying over and over, the only way for humanity to go forward is through peace, balance, and correct conduct. Like, we can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It ain't going to happen. Just seeing some of the posts this past few weeks and the amount of plastics in the oceans, it's just crazy. It's crazy. We got to start cleaning this stuff up. It's not going to happen by forcing corporations to stop making plastic. That ain't going to happen. So what do? There's a solution to every problem. And, recycling, if you look at Sweden, for example, and their recycling programs, it's one of the best in the world. They run out of garbage. They have to seek garbage from other places because the recycling program is so efficient. So that's the number one step, to move it in that direction. Number two would be to start reducing and limit the manufacturing of it. But to stop it, it ain't going to happen overnight. That would have to happen over many years. Corporations going into something different type of production of stuff. Maybe moving into the plasma stuff because that's growing. But there's many things. If people started living the lifestyle of less is more, for example, and no matter what diet they're at right now, just reduce it. I say 50%, it's a lot for most people, but if people would, let's say, reduce their eating consumption, start off by reducing their monthly eating by 20%, they would start on that, and they would start feeling benefits, even no matter what they're eating, if they just started reducing their foods, because that's shown over and over in many studies. Reduce your food consumption, you live longer, and you feel better. And then by that, and continue with that, their mind's going to start opening up into different things, and they start reducing, maybe start cleaning things up because they're feeling better. And it starts going to that. If everybody ate 50% less of what they're eating today, man, oh man, what a different world it would be. Half the killing would stop immediately. Like I'm all for everybody stopping eating animals, but I'm also all for everybody stopping eating any other living being, including insects, plants, and everything else. But how do we start? We're not going to start just living on air. It ain't going to happen. Rana?
Yeah, I forgot what I wanted to say. I think I wanted to say that it's very difficult to ask somebody to reduce what they're eating because of the addiction. It's almost impossible if you just tell me reduce what you're eating, coming from a standard diet. But I would say educate yourself on food, and eat cleaner. Eat the mucusless diet, for example, right? And as you eat this way, you're going to be less addicted to food, and you're going to eat less. So it's going to be automatic. You don't even have to work at it because you can't force yourself. You want to allow your body to tell you, okay, you know what, I don't eat that much food because I'm not hungry. So eat foods that move through you, so you're less addicted. You have less obstructions, and you're going to be less addicted to the food, to the fats and protein and all that stuff. So, yeah.
See a lot of people going into the fruitarianism and eating, more is better kind of approach, and they're just plugged up. Can't absorb anything. They keep eating and eating. It's just an impossibility for me to consider eating anything even remotely close to what some of these people are eating. I just can't do it. Even though
because it's much lighter, you're going to eat more.
There's just no way I can do it.
At the beginning, people want to fill up, so they eat more. Maybe they eat more sweet potatoes, more, the heavy stuff. And some people, if they want to do raw food, they're going to eat a lot of fruits, to fill up. And yes, it's a lot. But
Yeah, because they're trying to feel that fullness, that heaviness, which is something that they attribute to settling their emotions and subconsciously. And it's, through physical weight, like that's even myself, I have a big challenge because I couldn't leave the table when I was young until I finished everything on the plate. So I ate everything, and that's what I have to deal with. And many others I've heard the same story, or even actually forced feed. They had to, whatever, and that's devastating to our subconscious. It's we see parents doing that to children all the time. It's time to eat. Oh, I'm not hungry. Oh, it's time to eat. Come and eat. And that program, after what, 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 100 times, 1,000 times, what happens? You don't have to say that no more. The clock rings and they're there. Program's running. There's triggers that make it work. They've done these many studies of stuff like that with animals. So this is what we're dealing with on a mass scale. And how do we reverse that and clean ourselves up? We fast and slowly retrain ourselves and look at ourselves in the mirror of what these cravings really are, because they're not hunger. I can assure you, 99.9% of the people that say they're hungry, it's not hunger at all. So, ask yourself next time you feel hunger, okay, am I really hungry? Ask yourself 3 times, am I really hungry? Go and look at the food. Am I really hungry? Is my body really hungry? And you'll see it's an emotion that's coming to the surface. 99.9% of the time, emotion. Yes.
so how come when you're fasting you have zero hunger? You completely healed emotionally?
No.
Not yet.
No, it does come to the surface here and there when you fast. Not as much, because the matter that's stuck within our GI tract from the eating we've done is all attached with memory.
Yeah.
The emotions of every bite is what I said. So the more you have in your GI tract, the more cravings you can have. This is why people have not much challenges when they're fasting, but when they go back to food, they start putting that back in. Whatever emotions they're eating with, they're going into them, and that's in there. It's created into that GAN state. You're living off that energy, interacting with it, and it's affecting the emotions. So this is why we're having big challenges when we go back with food. If you eat light, minimal, and you keep things moving through, you're going to have less challenges. And then what starts happening, people start getting into the binge because they do one thing and then another thing and another thing, and then it's just fill up, and it just gets crazy, and they go into the binge eating. So we have to be careful and ask ourselves, are we truly hungry? We've seen people breaking their fast for all kinds of reasons, but the correct reason. 99% of people breaking their fast, honestly, they're not ready for food yet. 99%. But they're breaking it. And then they start complaining about the food that they're eating. I'm eating fruit, and I'm blowing up like a balloon, and blah, 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 whatever. Just some examples, but they're not ready for food. The body finally, thank you, months with no food, I can finally start working and freeing myself from all these obstructions. And what do? They stop it. Because emotionally, that's the challenge. They're too skinny, start hearing from coworkers, families, friends, and it starts affecting you. And that's, we're having all these challenges around us. And some people, even on their own, they're looking in the mirror and it's just, they don't have the understanding because they don't have the experience, and you're going to gain the way back. So it's just, it starts building on you, and it affects you negatively because you allow it to affect you because there's not a clear understanding and total faith in the soul. And as we move along, as we retrain ourselves, that comes. It's just have to have that patience, persistence, and consistency for years. For years. Yeah.
Well, I believe the body is never ready for food. Yes, it's good to do a long fast to really clear up some blockages, and then if you want to go back to eating. But even short or long fast, I believe the body doesn't want food.
I know it doesn't want food, but it's not going to be an easy thing for everybody to stop eating completely right off the bat. It's not going to happen. You may have one in 10 million or 100 million people do that. It's happened, but most of the people that have stopped eating, it was a progression of over years, cleaning up and going that route. Very, very few have done it the other way that I've heard.
Yeah.
Some people have killed themselves coming from regular diets, trying to go into breatharian.
No, I'm not talking about breatharian. I'm talking about liquid. I'm talking about massive fast. I'm not talking about breatharianism, because that's not what we're doing, at this point. But
focusing on plazatarianism, whatever word you want to use.
Marine. Sorry.
Breatharianism is just another thing that we attach ourselves to, but ultimately, we are light and we don't even need air. Really, that's another thing that people will think you're absolutely ludicrous. No food, no water, and no air. Well, whatever. It's
Marine was one of the very few people, or the only person I met, who came into the massive fast 2 years ago and said, I don't want to eat anymore from the beginning.
Yeah.
And he stayed with it. He had 2 weeks of smoothies. He thought that was okay. Like, he thought it was liquid, but it's not. It's fiber. And he did that only to slow down the detox, not because he wanted. And once we told him it slows down your eating, he went back to the master fast. So, yeah, he has no plan to eat. So, very few people, of course. Marine is a very special case.
He just committed. He committed 100%. And amazing things happen. I don't know if you guys have heard his story, but listen to the interview he gave, and pretty amazing soul. They used him as an experiment, and he, against all odds, survived. In a wheelchair, ready to die. 4 years of chemo, 4 types of cancers.
He was on morphine.
Yeah, experimental surgeries. I don't know how many drugs he was on.
I think 20-something.
He's off everything. And he's put 4 kilos of muscle last month when I spoke to him, after being almost 2 years on MFS.
Yeah, after he removed his last drug, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's commitment, guys. It was life or death for him, and he chose life. And I can't remember the number. It was like 3,000 people at the clinic he was with all types of cancer that he was, when he started, not one is alive. They're all dead. All of them are dead. He's the only survivor. And they're harassing him and bringing him into court, trying to get him to go back to work because he's not doing what the agenda states. So you think you guys got challenges? There's always somebody with way more challenges than ourselves. And, we support them as best we can.
They're there to inspire us.
Yeah. Crazy stuff that we have to listen to and hear about people's crazy stories. I I've heard all. I thought I've heard it all, and there's always something crazier. But guys, we focus on the solutions because that's all we want to drive towards, and you'll get there because your wish is truly your command. And we need to train ourselves to remember that and start building that faith. There's so much nonsense out there, just crazy stuff. People doing things that they have no clue what they're doing, and they're guiding other people. We see it all the time, and it's funny, but took me a long time before I decided that, the universe kicked me in the butt for a few years to get me to start sharing, because I had no plans in sharing, and I've said it before. I just was watching people and shaking my head, saying, "What are these guys doing?" I can only speak through my experience because I've lived it. And so many opinions and advices of things, and people just getting hurt. We can help anybody pretty much. It's only the mind that gets in the way, guys. That's it. If you allow it, because of whatever pressures, it's only you allowing it. And it's that trust in the soul that'll change everything. And, training ourselves through, whatever, many fasts, long fasts, over and over and over, you'll start getting the picture over time. You'll see things differently. You'll understand that, going without, anything for a week or two is not an impossibility. But if you work at it for 2, 3, 4 years, you'll be able to do it just like myself or many other people have done it. It's not a big deal. You're going to have some bumps and challenges. And if you go off the wagon eating heavy, it's going to be more challenging. If you stay clean, it's going to be easier. So, if you're ignoring what the food's doing to your body and your, mental and emotional state, you'll keep plugging yourself up. But if you start listening, you're going to do it less and less often. And you're going to focus on living on what we call plasma. I like to call it plasma, on light, because you feel so much better. You're going to have stages of weakness, this, that, and the other thing, but that's all part of the detoxification, true detoxification, of removing these obstructions that are giving us the challenges. Because that's all I see myself is what gives us these challenges is the obstructions we create through our emotion and get locked up in our physicality. And once we start releasing them, the energy starts flowing and our perspective changes. So that's the biggest wake-up call for a lot of us, is understanding to free up those locked up, stagnant areas in the etheric, emotional bodies. And we're lucky we can do it through the physical, because it's the easier ways that I've found. Doing it without changing diet. We had a beautiful testimonial from Gabby from Italy and her partner Paolo. They were working on meditation and so on for years. She couldn't let go of her anger until she did 108 days MFS. Surprise, surprise. There will. I'm not saying that that's, there are, you can do it through the other way, but it's so much easier for most of us through the physical, because we are in the physical. We are in this matter realm. We live it. We touch it. We breathe it. And it's, I think it's easier for us in our belief system because of our programming to do it that way. I think that's what it is. And then the other part, it goes along and you start expanding on that part. So they work hand in hand because we're in this realm. But yeah, for the, it's good stuff. Hello, Jonathan. You're hiding on us. David, Inga.
Can I add one thing? Growing up in Islam, and praying and fasting, I remember one thing. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia, and we learned so much religion in our schools. And there was one phrase that I always remembered from the Holy Book. And it basically says, every deed of the son of Adam is for him, except fasting. It is for me, and I shall reward for it. I mean, this really, every time I think about it, I'm like, it's amazing, because it means it's the most important thing of everything that we do in Islam. Prayer 5 times a day. Fasting is even more important than praying. And there's something to it. As you clean your physical, you're also cleaning your emotional. And when you fast also from gossiping. You fast from having bad thoughts about somebody, so you go back to God quickly. It's much easier to connect with God when you are fasting than when you're eating. It's much easier to observe yourself, and it's a good time for prayer. I really appreciate that phrase, and I just can't forget it. It stayed in my head, and I always remember it. It's beautiful. I mean, so just remember this. This is the best way to connect to God. Connect with God with whatever religion you do, whatever prayer you do. I believe the solution to many of our emotional troubles is that we're not connected with God, which is, you can say higher self, talk to God, talk to your higher self, connect, because we don't do that. We're so busy. And we're just, I don't know, trapped in our daily routines. And I think it's important to give time to God and thank God, have gratitude, be happy. The last thing we want is to complain, and it's okay to complain, but observe yourself, and you will be able to do this much better when you're fasting than when you're eating.
Jonathan, just hiding. Just got more herbs today, dry tomorrow, and it's on. Got to dig badly. Yeah, man, awesome. Just commit, Jonathan. You're here. You're back and forth. It's once you understand, it's just lifestyle. That's it. Forget about going back to where we used to be. Who wants to go there? It ain't good. But like this whole planet, like if you really think the simplicity of everybody decided tomorrow to live in peace, balance, and correct conduct, what would happen? It could happen in that instant. It would be magical. It would be just unreal. It would, and it's the more people that live it, that field, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and eventually there's that exponential growth, and bang, it takes over. That's what's got to happen. It really, that's the way plasma works, folks. It just builds and builds and builds, and eventually the whole planet is living a peace, balance, and correct conduct. Borderless, everybody's in peace. No controversy of anything. We all pray to one God because we're all one. It's not inconceivable. It's just, why do people fight? I can't comprehend it anymore. Can't comprehend it.
Okay, easier said than done. we have this, we have the tools, we use the tools, and slowly, we start with ourselves, and it's gonna happen. The whole world is already evolving.
Go ahead, Peter. You want to say something?
Yeah, no, we just, I don't know there seems to me to have been quite, I don't know if it's personal or a collective experience, but I've been feeling very strongly this last couple of weeks. You're talking about that I've been very aware of that sort of 100th monkey thing for years. And it feels like it truly is getting very, very close to that. Those sorts of shifts there's so many people. It feels to me a very exciting, pregnant, poignant time at the moment. So, it doesn't take a huge percentage for those shifts to start to really manifest, does it? Like you were talking about.
No, there's that slow gradient, and all of a sudden it just shoots up, right?
You're right, absolutely.
And that's the focus. I put the posts of let's everybody make a deposit in the MassFast Plasma Bank every day at 4:32 a.m. or p.m. wherever you are, doesn't matter. If everybody does that over and over and over. People are going, whatever, they don't believe it. It doesn't matter what they believe. Even if you don't believe it and you do it, you're adding to that field. You're adding strength to that field, because everything is energy. You can't be separate. Every thought is an energy. So, that's just magic will start happening. The more and more people do that, it's just awesome. Just builds and builds and builds and builds. We keep a pretty low profile in MasterFast. No fancy things, no nothing. Patience, persistence, and consistency. We're here every week since we started. We're as long as we're here, we're here to support everybody as best we can. And this is where what's lacking out there. Number one is the commitment is lacking. Number two is the belief system. Because they don't commit, they're never going to have the belief system. So it's that snowball effect of people jumping from one diet to another diet to another diet, because diets are not protocols, in my opinion. Diet's a diet. Monkeys eat fruit. Primates eat fruit. It's not a protocol for them. That's their lifestyle. It's their diet. Protocol is when you start doing something that's going to help you truly detoxify, and that's stop eating. And we just laid it out in a system where it interacts with your lifestyle and is part of your lifestyle, and it's systematic. So there's many avenues for you to choose from to make it be able to fit in your lifestyle, to make it work, whether it's with shorter fasts or whether it's longer ones or anything in between. And keeping the dry fasting is part of your life. No matter where you go, you never let go of that. It's very, very systematic and simple. People are starting to see it, because thanks Rana, she put it all in proper English, because I can't do that. I don't have that intelligence. It's very, very few people are complaining now about not understanding. Whereas when I had it all written out, it was every single day. I don't understand this. The info was all there, but it wasn't structured the way people are used to, I guess, because I don't have that. That's not what I am. But, the universe works in mysterious ways. He brought Brana into the picture to bring the structure.
Yeah, I'm all about structure.
Many, many other people who have contributed so much on the book page and so on and so forth. And it's come out nicely. It's the support's there and it's structured well now. And we're just build and build and build on that and continue and what we're doing for the people who are committed to this lifestyle. We've had people that came in and disappeared, and then they come back a year later or even 2 years later, because there was nothing that could give them satisfaction, like when they felt they were on master fast. And that's what happens as well. They go off after a master fast and go to whatever else, and then they come back. Because what are you going to do? You're gonna continue eating, 7 days a week. We're not going to go far doing that. We've been there. We've done that. And like I said, we have the post master fast page to guide people into the food section, because a lot of people complain at the beginning, they didn't want to see food when they're fasting and everything. For me, it doesn't matter. I don't care if I'm fasting or about food. But, but we have that page. So, if you want to talk about food and eating, go to that page, and there's that support there. But most of the focus is on the Master Fast main page, because the eating things, there's many out there. It's endless what people are doing with food. We have it pretty laid out what Arnold Laird was teaching. Simple. Mucusless diet, and he wasn't an advocate of, what do they call it? What did he word? Fanatical raw foodism or something. He named it because he understood it's about energy. And this marvelous, simple formula, V equals P, take away O, holds so true. If you understand that formula, it's all there in that formula. Vitality equals power, take away obstruction. It's all there. Obstruct the body uses more power, vitality goes down. Free the body of obstructions, body doesn't have to use any power, vitality goes up. Such a simple formula. And if that's all you got from that book, you got it all, because all the other stuff is frivolous. It's simple. And what did he advocate? You need to be fasting. So, we've just taken it a step further, because there's so much more in today's modern man than what even at his time. Men were toxic because there was drugs in his time. But if he was here today, he'd be pulling his hair up. Man has gone downhill from that point and not, improved. And the toxicity levels are so great. We're being bombarded with things like microwaves and radio waves and this wave and that wave and so on and so forth. Cell phone towers and chemtrails and corporate foods and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's left, right, and center, up, above, and below. It's everywhere. So, we need to be a little bit more prudent today's modern man. I was on other dry fasting pages, and people are just eating everything and anything in dry fasting. And it's just crazy. People are getting in trouble. People are not getting results. They're getting a little bit of results, but they're going back to eating whatever. And it's just, why? Why? But, hey, it's a start for something. Gabrielle, you have anything to say? Unmute.
Hello.
Hello.
I am on day 45.
Awesome.
Dry fasting today.
Very good.
My adrenals, I think my adrenals are killing me. That's the reason I sit like that in a bed. So.
Yeah, kidney and adrenals, if you're feeling pain in that area.
Excuse me?
Kidneys and adrenals, both together.
But it's my upper back. It's not lower back. So
yeah, still kidneys.
Okay. So.
Because they're doing a lot of work, and adrenals are, we call them the king and queens, and they have a crown.
Yeah, I know.
So anytime they're doing work, the pain can be anywhere, stemming anywhere in your back, and it's all stemming, and they're just doing so much work connected to the blood system, the lymphatic system, you know. So they're just doing so much work when you're on a fast. And that's why we nurture them.
Yeah, so far so good. Um, I'm okay. Let's say I didn't have big challenges so far. So
Very good.
I don't think I can make it to 108 days because I'm traveling. So I don't know. Maybe I'm planning like 63.
You're traveling right now?
I will be traveling in May and June.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I travel during summer, but this year I have to go in two countries, so back to back. So I think I will be stopping before and give myself a bit of time, you know, to.
Yeah. It's more challenging when you're traveling to do it, but not impossible if you prepare well and you understand.
Yeah, there is a conference with, you know, people going, you know, lunches and dinners, and then I said, well, it will be hard for me to.
Yeah.
But I will keep my dry fasting days. Even before Master Fast, I was doing my weekly, monthly. My longest dry fast was 3.5 days.
Nice.
So yeah, it was okay, and it was easy. You know, it was like yeah. So now I don't want to go too much on dry fast. I was listening to Rana on the other days when she was saying that she goes with 24 hours weekly, and then I had my
We're losing you. Hello?
season change for 48 hours. My season changed dry now.
You're freezing, Gabriela. Can you hear us?
I think we lost her.
She's freezing up.
I think she said 48 hours monthly.
Yeah, we lost her. Hello, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I lost you for a bit.
Yeah. We lost you for about 30 seconds, a minute.
Yes. So I don't know where were we? Because I was.
So you were saying you're dry fasting. You said 24 hours a week, and
I was dry fasting 36 hours. It's easier for me to break it in the morning than, so I said.
So you started in the evening, right?
Then
Yeah, we're losing you again. Okay, till she gets back. She's having some internet issues. No, I think we lost her. Yeah. Who do we have? Anything to say, David? Oh, you're back again, Gabriela. Are you on Wi-Fi?
yes,
Yeah.
I'm on Wi-Fi. So
What area? Where do you live?
in Montreal now.
Yeah, we lost her again. What did you say, Montreal?
Yeah, I think she's in Montreal.
Not too far away. Anybody else? Inga?
So I'm
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. For me, it's very difficult to talk. My heart is just jumping. And what I want to share, whatever has happened to me in the past, I have shot myself to heal. And as I go more master fast, I open it. And it just, even now, the heart just really races. It's, I break my fast. You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah. How much is your heart?
Happens,
How much is it beating? What's the beats per minute?
I don't know. No, just now. No, on the fast is perfect. No problems at all. But sharing, ask for help, it's very difficult. And what I'm experiencing very difficult, when I break the fast, overeating, eating, just absolutely no control over. And what I realize now, I just done 22 days now. I broke last Friday. I broke on the 23rd. And Thursday is fine. I can eat fruits, no problem. Second day, I already start. And then it just goes completely out of control. And see, I can be in the kitchen, whatever food, and just eat and eat and eat and eat. And what I realize, what I'm doing to myself, just whatever emotions wants to come up, I'm not allowing.
Yeah. You've had some traumas in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sit down with yourself, when this starts happening or when you're about to make it happen, and start writing things down. Maybe do all the pros and cons of why you should eat and why you shouldn't eat. Try something, out of the ordinary and see if you can allow that emotion to come to the surface, to release it. Because
I'm terrified to cry.
Okay, so yeah, you're holding something. Because the food, it numbs us. That's why we go for the food. We numb those emotions. So the more challenges we have with this binge eating, the more we have locked up in our emotional state. And it's usually 99% from some kind of trauma in our lives, whether it's a little thing that we don't remember or whatever. And these are the things that I've got to allow ourselves to express and figure out what is this thing that's enslaving me that I don't want to release. And the more we work on it, the more we work on it, we'll break it free. Don't be discouraged. Yeah, some of us are going to go on these binges sometimes, but you got to just be careful that we don't go into the areas where you can really hurt yourself, because you can after a longer fast, especially if you start binging in the wrong thing.
Even now, at the moment, my legs are very small, and like my body, I can like hear loudly, it speaks.
Yeah.
But it's just started a control where the days I just, even if I wanted, I just cannot. And then I don't judge myself. It happened. Just a time will come, I'll be ready.
Yeah, we don't beat ourselves up. Okay.
Yeah.
What did I learn from this? After you've done it, what did I learn? The next day you're going to feel horrible. If you binge eat, I don't care what you eat, you're not going to feel well. So what did I learn from this? And am I ready to let it go? And only you can decide that.
Of course.
Yes. You have children, I remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, you're on your own?
No, like
Yeah,
I am with her partner, but we don't live together.
yeah, okay, because I spoke to you a while ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, and then at that time I didn't have. I wasn't in a relationship then.
Yeah, so with children around, everything, they pick up on these things, and you need to be a good example, for them, especially.
She's great.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
food.
Because like we've been going to Stargate a lot, and that has helped me where I already have become, and to understand there is no one to judge, there is no one to blame. It doesn't matter what has happened to me, and but I know because I'm holding myself back, I also holding her back, because she's also very creative and very intelligent girl. But because I'm not allowing open my inner child, I'm holding her as well. She's such a pure light. She's a pure light.
Awesome.
Such a gift.
They're here to teach us, the children. And
yeah, I adore. I have really, really deep connection with children.
You stay committed, stay focused, be persistent, be consistent. It'll get easier and easier and easier if you're only focusing on your goals and you drive to them. Yeah, you're gonna fall down here and there, but there's gonna be a time where you're gonna come to the realization, I'm done with this. I need to make
I'm tired.
Yeah. And some of us will drive ourselves to death because we're just not ready to commit in this plane, and we need to go and jump the fence or whatever you want to call it. But it's okay, everybody's going to take their roads, and nobody can decide for anybody else. But if you do commit, you're going to get to achieve that balanced state, that much more balanced state. It takes what it takes. Just stay focused. In the home, just don't keep anything that's going to make you go in the crazy end of in version of food. Keep the best things around your house as you possible. So at least if you binge eat, you're eating better stuff. Fruits, greens, mainly. Baked beet, baked sweet potato, some steamed greens, no big deal. But going away further from that, we get into trouble. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I was just wondering, does Inga have anybody that she can talk to about how she's feeling? Because there's lots of feelings that are trying to come up for you, aren't there, Inga, at the moment? And if you can find it, I don't know what your communication quality is like with your new partner, but if you can share about just what you're feeling about what's coming up, that will release so much of this having to act it out. I know it's a bit scary to talk about some of these feelings, but just stick with the literal sensations of what's happening in your body. Let's go from there. Start to talk about how you're actually feeling. I think your actions will start to change significantly if you can start to share a little bit more, to externalize what you're feeling, because that is what is driving, as you're becoming aware, that is what is driving your eating. And you're not being kind and gentle to yourself, and you want to break this pattern, but it's tricky when we've got to find good counsel in some form around us in our lives. Bree and I are very, very grateful to have each other, because we have learned over the years pretty well, and we still fall down, but we've learned how to communicate well, and it's honestly made my journey and Bree's so different. And so if you can start to open up about this a little bit more, what's going on for you, to share these feelings, I think you'll find that a really important key for you in terms of starting to find a more balanced relationship with your food.
Yeah, but the only thing is, he is like completely, he thinks it's crazy to do fasts. Crazy. You should eat, you should eat, you should eat. Even I feel so light, blissful, much love, and still he thinks you need to eat.
Well, what Peter's saying, you don't need to be discussing about food, but about these emotions that are locked up. That's why I was saying to write down, you know, even if you're doing it to yourself, but if you can discuss it with your partners, okay, leave the food out of it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you feeling? Why are you holding this in? What is it that you're not allowing to release? Go connect with nature maybe when you're coming with these feelings that you're trying to cry and it won't come out. Maybe just go hug a tree or something. Do something different. You find a way that you're going to be able to allow you to express yourself. Being on here, to expressing yourself and sharing with everybody. That's already a form, a step in the right direction. That's why we have these things. It's the food thing, guys, and the fasting thing. Sorry, is the easy part. It's all the other thing, getting along and working in our society and interacting with everybody else. That's the challenging part because it's all about food out there. So this is why we do these support things every week, and allow people to share and feel and get a sense of how other people are interacting and functioning after they've done these fasts, after they start eating. We need that interaction because it's all in the dark for most people of doing anything like this. That's why I said some people come, they do a long fast, never hear from them for months or years because they just went off and they went crazy doing whatever, and they're just blaming the fast for everything because they're not understanding what we're saying. It's a lifestyle. And that's the missing key from everything I've ever seen out there. Nobody ever really, raw foods. But what's raw foods? Well, veganism. What's veganism? There's so many subcategories. It's infinite in each direction. It doesn't make any sense of anything. There's no structure in any of these things out there that people are sharing that I've seen. So, number one, fasting stays your life as part of your life. Number two, a lifestyle of less is more when you go back to food. 7 days a week, ludicrous to go back to that. We can't go back to that. It's just insanity of what we know now. How little food when you start cleaning up your body actually needs. Like myself, I've been doing this for years, but if 4 days is absolute maximum when I'm eating that I eat food. Occasionally, it may happen a little longer than that, but in the last 4 years, it's been rare. So it's a systematic thing over time that we work, and we are able to change our belief system so we can extend and live more and more on the plasma side versus the eating side. And it's always in my psyche to every time I eat something, what am I eating for? I'm not really hungry. I need to look into extending and expanding on that. That's the way my mind works. To 4 days a week, I think it's a little bit too much now. I think I got to move to maybe 3 days a week maximum, or maybe 2 days a week, or whatever. It's or let go of food completely, because the state of being when you're not eating is so much better. Once you've cleaned up a bit, it's so much better that you're gonna be asking yourself these questions: why am I eating? That may come, in a few years. Like I'm just giving you guys the experiences that I go through, and Rana was talking about it. So the commitment is the key. Commit to a lifestyle change of less is more, and don't look back. Just have a sneak peek preview of your experiences, so you learn from them. That's it. You don't want to go back there. You just want. It's a slight memory thing that you. I don't want to go back. I'm going to move forward. And then, you know, connecting with like-minded souls that are moving in the same direction, and we'll all get there to where we want to go, back to the realm of light, because that's where we come from. So ultimately, it's where we come from. But Inga, I'm glad you're sticking to it. Even though you've had challenges going to your binging thing, you're sticking to it. You're around. You know, you're asking some questions and so on and so forth. This is the only way it's going to happen, is we interact. By giving is how we're allowed to receive. Not before giving, we cannot receive. And giving
But
is
Gino,
many forms.
I love give. I'm not allowed receive.
This is a challenge, right? It's a challenge for you. You'll come to the point where it'll come back and you'll open up. It's just be patient. Be patient and be persistent and consistent. Do some of the things we've talked about. If you can talk to your partner, or if your mother's around, or somebody that you can talk to. If you have an animal, your child, something that you can interact and move these fields. So there's that stagnation starts to break free within the emotional body. And once that starts loosening up, you'll start crying and it'll start releasing, and that'll be the first step. And then maybe I'll lock up again, but you've released one little layer. So you need to go down the next layer, and then the next layer, and the next layer. How many layers? I don't know. I don't have the answer. It doesn't matter. But we keep going with consistency and persistency, and we keep stripping those layers. And eventually we get to the point of nothingness. We turn to light, and we're back to where we started. Right? So, you know, it's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Brianna.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody would understand what we're going through. Like, it might be difficult to talk to people. If you talk to people about your emotions, they might blame it on the fast, right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, honestly, to me, the best is to talk to God. Connect with God. You know, you can call it meditation, whatever, but just sit down and connect with God, maybe at least, you know, maybe 2-3 times a day. You know, it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't, you know, just say, hi, God, how are you? And imagine God is replying back to you. You know, God is talking to you. And then ask God, you know, say, God, I thank you for everything you gave me today. You know, I love you, God. You know, and just, you know, imagine God replying to you. It's always going to be a beautiful answer. So connect with God like that, just a few statements, statements, and then do it maybe 2-3 times a day. We forget even that, we don't make time for it. Even a few seconds to connect with God, which is, you can say, this is, you're talking to your higher self, you know. I totally, you know, honestly connect, you know, and feel God. Feel God.
What you're saying about this, okay? But with me is maybe patience is not enough, because like, as I've done a lot of Stargate, and that's what they teach as well, and even in meditations they bring the connections with higher self, God, universe, whatever you call, or say angels. But with me is, I'm not allowed to feel them. And even if I talk, I don't get any answers or anything, and I just give up.
When you were fasting, did you have the same feeling, or was it easier to connect?
This feeling, when I have shut myself, it's for years. It just really slowly opening and opening and opening. I used to be completely shut down.
Okay,
I didn't allow anyone near me.
Okay, so fasting versus eating, did you notice any difference in this connection?
I feel when I fast, I feel more connected.
Well, fast again. Or why didn't you get into a mini massive fast option where you fast most of the week and then eat maybe 2-3 days a week?
I have tried so many. I have, believe me, have
done. Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I tried it and then I did it, and it's not easy to do it. Mm-hmm. I have fallen off, but you want to have a routine. So after 2-3 weeks, After 3 weeks, you become comfortable with it. Then you're happy with the food. You're happy with the fasting. You start looking forward to them, and then at some point you will say, you know what? I can't do this to my body anymore. I don't want to even eat. In my opinion, I have, from my experience with eating 1 day a week. At some point, I said, I'm abusing my body. I knew it. Every week
And
I
that's
ate.
100%.
I felt that I was abusing my body, but I kept doing it because I love the food. Who doesn't love food, right? And then connect with us. If you can't connect with, so even if you can't connect with God, still, talk to God for a few seconds. It's okay. You don't have to listen to whatever God says. Okay? You don't have to have connection, but just you do something. Give so you can receive, right? You cannot receive help from God without asking God for help. You can't, because it doesn't work. God, you must ask. You must be, in a place where you say, God, I want you to help me, and then all of a sudden you find answers here and there. You find the massive fast. You find a good diet. And this is answers from God. I mean, you don't have to have a letter from God.
And I understand also myself. If I'm not gonna ask for help, no one can help me.
There you go. You have to put yourself down and say, you know what? I need help. You can't be proud. You can't be proud and say, I got it. No, nobody got it. Okay? Nobody has everything. Yeah, and another thing is write down how you feel. Because you know what? You'll forget about it. Before you forget about it, write down how you feel. Write down how you feel before you forget about it. And keep it, aside. And then one day come back to it and look at it. Because you know what? It can change your mind. This is how I decided on day 2 of this fast. Today is day 58. This is how I decided on day 2. Day 1, I fasted and I said, I will just fast. I don't know how long. Day 2, I said, no. I want it to be a lifestyle. Am I going to fast or am I going to eat 1 day a week? And then I got my notes from after eating 1 day a week for 90 days. I made notes because I was having my Zoom interview and I wanted to discuss my experience. And I went to the notes and I was like, oh my God, it is clear. The answer is right there in front of me. So this is a message from God, right? I was so confused. I was like, oh, I have the notes. I find the notes. This is from God. God is giving me hints, It's not like, this is my higher self. And I find the notes and I look at them and I called Gino right away and I said, oh my God, Gino. I've been, it's crazy. Like, how stupid am I? It's in front of me, And then I said, that's it. I'm not going to eat on Sundays. And I didn't say anything to anybody because I wanted to see how I feel. And but now I know every day I tell you, we don't need to eat. We don't need to eat. 100%. Not we don't need to eat. We're not meant to eat. The human body.
100% agree with this. There is no doubt because I experienced 40 days with no food, and I never felt as good. I feel very good after Stargate meditations because I'm in high energies and on so much loving beings around, is no question. But I never experienced as good and as pure light after 40 days master fast. Never. And that's why I totally agree. We can live without food, no question. But it's only timing. Whenever we're ready to completely commit and allow the food go.
Next time you have this feeling of binging, go into a cold shower.
Okay.
Let me know what happens.
Okay.
Just to let you know one more thing. Sorry, continue.
Or if you have a lake, a cold lake or whatever, jump in.
No, I don't have it near.
Cold shower. See what the cold water does.
Yeah, another thing, by the way, I was binge eating the night before I started this fast. Just to let you know. And my niece was born. I wanted to start this fast. It's been since November. I started in February. Okay, this is how many months it took me to start. I do short ones and then I fall. Short ones, I fall. So it's normal, okay, what you're going through. And so I've been saying, okay, I'm gonna start. We're gonna start Friday. And then my sister is pregnant. She's gonna have a baby. She was gonna have a baby at that time, right? And then she's having contractions. I'm like, oh my God, that's it. I'm gonna start when the baby's born, you know. And the baby was born February 2nd. I said, that's it. I have all the motivation to start. I started, and now, you know, the baby is 58 days old. Yeah.
I'm starting, like I'm already on the dry. I'm starting again from tomorrow. From this evening.
Good.
I'll take day at a time.
Good for you. Connect with us because we help each other.
Yeah, you'll get there. Be patient, but find a way to work that stagnation in the emotional body out. Once you start releasing that, it may be tougher on the next layer, but you understand that you know how to do it now, and you just keep going. You don't stop. You don't try. You just keep going. Because what else are you going to do? You're going to go back to eating? Everybody else is doing that, and look at what we have out there. It's a freaking mess out there.
There's no happiness. When we eat, there is no that happiness when you experience when you fast. Like even, I am very positive, I am very full of joy, but still, it's missing that true happiness when you fast, when you eat.
The eating, the only thing that gives us pleasure is that few seconds of the taste and the aromas. So if we learn to tap into just the aromas, which are the fields, we'd be able to retrain ourselves to just enjoy it at that level and satisfy us emotionally. Just like if you get into you have essential oils?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Lots of them.
Yeah, I was showing my diffuser here. 1 sec.
I have that one too.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really nice diffuser. We just put it on the...
Only yours is a lot of holds water, 750. Mine is on, I think it's 150 or 200 milliliters.
Yeah, this is the biggest one they had, and it's awesome. It goes for 20 hours.
Wow.
And this is like $45 in the Canadian side, everywhere around the world. But it's a really nice unit. It works on ultrasonic, I believe.
I have from doTERRA.
And what I do is I fill it up with GANS water, CO2 zinc oxide. So that's very, very balancing for emotions. And the gateway to emotion and physicality is through the lungs.
Right.
It goes into the bloodstream, and the blood is the emotion of the physicality in man, and the lymph is the blood is the emotion, and the lymph is the physicality. So how do we affect the emotion? This is why essential oils, guys, work so amazing, because we're taking those fields, the aromas of the fields. We're going out in nature. What are we doing? We're taking in the fields. When we're breathing in the air, you know, everything we've been taught is not really accurate. In the air, there's like 70% is nitrogen. Very small percentage is oxygen. And there's no air that actually crosses the barrier of the lungs in the physical body, just as no matter physical food crosses the GI tract lining. It's all field interactions. Through ultraviolet light, once the air goes into our lung, things start moving plasmatically, not physically like we've been taught. And then there's an exchange happening, and there's an energy exchange through the lymphatic, through the CO2 and so on and so forth that the body's creating because it needs it. And many, many other things are happening. And all these field interactions are creating our physical matter body. All matter is created through fields. But I got these, how long have I had? Maybe I had on my mother's, I have another one on my mother's. I bought one there, and I had it maybe about 3 weeks. And then I got this one about a week ago. I brought it over here in my place because I liked it so much. So I bought another one. I used to
You're
have
so
one.
connected to
I have-
nature.
Yeah, I have these old ones. These ones, I've had this for many, many years. It works on air. It's very loud, and it doesn't work like this. These ones work much better. This one has a high setting, low setting, a 1 hour setting, 3 hour setting, 6 hour setting, and it also shuts off automatically when it runs out of water.
Yeah, mine is same. Mine is the same.
So, you know, how long are they going to go? I don't know, but it's worth it. In Keshe Space Technology, whenever he was working with any person with some kind of imbalance, he would always have them. He would always create a breathing apparatus so they can breathe in the fields of CO2. And this here is so easy. You don't need to do anything. The other thing that would be great would be to nano coat this plastic cover, which is not hard to do with what's that chemical name? It's slipped my mind now. Caustic. With a caustic. Sodium hydroxide, is it? And you can nano coat it very easily. But breathing in these fields, it changes the whole environment of the home once you got these things running. Like if anybody's using the essential oil, just the essential oils, you notice it changes the environment because you're changing the fields of the air of the house. But the CO2 is so powerful. I don't know if you guys have seen, I posted the video on Tom Salas' experience at his mother's place in Dominica. They got a huge disaster this past year, right, with the hurricanes, and the whole island was wiped out. Tom's been working with plasma, and he had his whole mother's property sprayed with plasma over the last few years. The hurricane came through, wiped out the island. Her piece of property was not touched. I posted this video, and if you understand what happened there, it'll open up your mind into what plasma field is really about. It's about bringing balance, protecting, connecting to source, to soul. This is what plasma is about, you know, bringing us back to the light. And, you know, whether you believe it or not, is irrelevant. Is it a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence, you know, coincide, two angles meeting perfectly. So whatever anybody wants to believe, they can believe, but that happened. And it's awesome to see, you know, something like that. He's probably the only guy on the island that was using the plasma. He was feeding all the plants and so on and so forth with it, because it's so easy to do. It's not rocket science, it's space technology. And space technology is within us, because this is the space technology of the universe, and we are a reflection of the operations of the universe. We are our own universe. We are an exact duplicate of the operations of the universe. So, you know, the understanding is very new to humanity of this, and it'll come more and more and more. And as more people gain that understanding, more of us will start to understand it more and more. Just the same effect as we're talking about everything, you know, bringing the peace. It's the same thing. But I highly recommend keep that thing running and learn how to make your CO2 zinc oxide GANs. Go on the Golden Age of GANs Facebook page, and there's people you can ask there. I'm sharing the knowledge, but I just can't teach everything. We do have some of the information on our page. It's very, very simple to do, but, you know, watch other people's videos. There's various ways of doing it, and it's going to only help you. It's not going to do anything but help you. And, you know, breathing it in is going to be key. There's so many testimonies of people just working with plasma fields, right? So this would be something that you put at your desk and you just breathe it in for 9-18 minutes, you know, once or twice a day, and then leave it running in the house, but breathe it in directly. This would be amazing for everybody to do. And these things are, they cost you nothing, really. Essential oils will cost you more, because the GANs you make yourself freely once you have the few materials. And materials, you can find them from scrap, pieces of copper and zinc and so on and so forth from old batteries. There's many, 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 many ways of doing it. Even if you purchase some of the materials, it's going to be a few dollars. There's not much. And you can start making lots of GANs and use these GANs as I was sharing this on Wednesday with the Facebook group, but that's one of those simple ways we can do it. That would really help you, Inga. CO2 zinc oxide GANs. Crystals. You got crystals?
One. No, actually 2.
What kind?
I cannot show you. I'm not home. I'm in my boyfriend's house.
Okay. Yeah. Cleanse them, wash them, salt water, put them in the sun. Do that maybe, every week, every couple of weeks. Continue, cleanse them, because you want to have them bring the balance to you, and they help draw. So you want to wash them a lot and do that. There's lots of things you can do, but finding a way to release that is your goal right now. That's what you're having a challenge with. Those
emotional baggage.
Yeah, we all have it. I haven't met anybody who doesn't. Some of us have more than others, and that's okay. It just makes you stronger because you're carrying it for longer. More weight.
I think that is, Gino really has saved my life. To forget whatever I have forgotten. Because what I have went through in my childhood is I can see the other ones who has difficulties and on drugs, alcohol, and I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky where I am now. Even like my brother committed suicide, couldn't get over his childhood too. And I am very, very blessed. And to be even in this group and to find you, and very blessed to find Stargate, and
suicide.
So blessed.
Yeah. Suicide is not an option. For the people who do it, we elevate their souls, but it's not an option. It's not an option.
Of course.
But you know what? When you look around, what are people doing? They're committing slow suicide every single day. Every moment they take a bite of something, every, whatever, their chemicals, we're doing it to ourselves all the time. And, we can be in an amazing paradise on this planet very easily if people lived in peace, balance, and correct conduct. And we stopped doing all this nonsense stuff that just destroys the planet and brings chaos and imbalance to everything and everything around it. So that's
how I say, like, who I am to judge, because I done that myself.
We understand, but there is what's called laws of the universe, and they're what they call cause and effect. So as long as you're not interfering with any other living being in any way, shape, or form, that's fine. But once somebody starts interfering with the other living beings' free will, there's a problem. And that's where cause and effect comes into play. So the only thing we can judge is ourselves at the end of it all. We will be judging ourselves. We're not going to be judging anywhere else. But when we're, interacting with whatever, it's all part of us anyway. So when we're making a judgment on something that we don't like, somebody's destroying something in nature or something, it's a part of us. So we're judging ourselves ultimately. And how do we stop that? Well, we got to go within, because fighting anything like that is not going to work. It's never worked. Wars never worked. They never will work. So it has to start from within. Look at what Gandhi did. One man changed the whole nation, and many other great examples in the past. It has to start with ourselves. There's no other way. There's no other option. So, if somebody attacks you, there's something going on, you need to, stand back, always, resist to whatever. But, if ultimately they do attack you, you're going to have to defend yourself. But most of the time you can work your way out of any conflict, no matter what it is, and verbal or physical or whatever. If you have that within you, and the more you have that within you, the less of those confrontations will be in your life in every which way, shape, or form. So this is what we're working towards.
And I can share this now. Thanks for bringing it up, because years ago, before I actually started spiritual journey, I got abused by so many people, and because I was so negative. And at that time, I didn't see this. But then when I started change, and only me changed, so many people changed towards me. So positive way, and just incredible was to watching.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, it's all within us.
Yeah. It's awesome. The story of that Hawaiian guy, was it, who changed the whole psych ward by I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you.
Yeah, I chant that very often.
How did he do it? He didn't talk to anybody. He did it with himself.
Yeah.
This is the way, guys. There's no other way out there. War is it's ludicrous to even have that word still exist in this day and age. It's incomprehensible how people are still doing this stuff. It doesn't make any sense at all. So we have to go within. Why are we allowing this to happen? It's within us. We're allowing. We're all responsible for all the killings. Every single one of them, we're all responsible. Until we take that full responsibility, nothing's going to change.
So if you are, let's say, helpless in you're a child in an occupied country, what do you do? What do you do? You're helpless. But you're smart, and what you can do is you get the word out, right, to the rest of the world, and they're doing it. So they're fighting back, but in a peaceful way, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's
we take responsibility for those children ourselves. That's how you start. There's no other way.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching it. Sorry, we're watching it. I mean, we're not involved, but we're watching it. The only thing I can do is share the information. But we can't do anything. We're not in the war. We're watching it.
I don't agree. We can't do anything. We can do something by going within.
Yeah, we go within. Okay, of course. Yeah. We pray, of course. I think that's the best we can do anyways. We pray. But the same thing with the animals, the torture of the animals. The animals can't do anything. They're helpless.
The 100th monkey syndrome. When enough people start making that commitment to peace, balance, and correct conduct, there's going to be an exponential growth.
Yeah.
And it's going to change. It's not going to change by people fighting one-on-one to try and...
No.
It's been like this for millennia, and nothing's changed. We're at the point now that it's probably the worst it's ever been in the history of man, with all these conflicts and stuff and wars. It's crazy, and the destruction of the planet. So it hasn't worked.
But Gino, what we can do is we can share the information to bring more awareness so more people would make a change.
Yeah,
and that's what we're doing anyways with the math.
To live in peace, balance, and correct conduct. You don't focus on the problem, you focus on the solution. If you focus in on the problem, it doesn't get you anywhere. I've never seen it work. You know, unless it's a car and it's a mechanic, okay, you see the problem, but then you're still going to focus on the solution. You got to fix it. You understand what the problems, we understand what the problems are. They're all around us. So I focus on the solution. This is my thing. That's what I believe. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about to that.
I just want to say, like, by the Stargate, what we have experienced in workshops, every single soul, doesn't matter, is a child, animal, adult, chooses the path, what we're going through. It's for our soul purposes to experience what we experience. And then matter, time, just it's time to cut the line and don't continue over and over and over. That is my belief. Even the child suffered, like I suffered very much, but there was a purpose why I did that. I haven't found it maybe yet, but maybe another couple years, that is going to be the best blessing in my life, what I experienced. Even was very dark and black and painful, but was the best because it need fulfill my soul, whatever I have done in previous lives.
Yeah,
I totally hear you. Yeah, I totally hear you. But for example, I am happy to see documentaries made of animals being tortured all over the world, spread more than ever, because it's important for people to see it. And with the internet, this is what's happening. We're sharing the information, good, bad, ugly, whatever. It's shared, and then you, as a human being, you make your own decisions.
Your thinking matter. Spirit, everything's energy. You live.
Gino, you start somewhere, okay?
Builds those fields stronger. Those fields are interacting with everybody. It starts interacting with them. It gets stronger. More people join. Gets stronger. More people join. No television, no nothing, no internet. You don't need
no
it.
Internet. And how can people find out about them?
And you create the peace, balance, and correct conduct within, and it changes.
And how can people find out about the massive fast without the internet? They can't. Yeah, this is why we're thriving at this moment. This is why we're evolving, because of the information that is shared.
Master Fast will be extinct through peace, balance, and correct conduct.
Yes, I know, but we start somewhere. We start with the Master Fast.
Yeah, I know, but Master Fast is mentoring to take it to the level of energy, not matter. That's what Master Fast is about. Forget about matter. It doesn't matter. You know, everybody else is focused on matter. We're doing the opposite. And we're getting the best results. And we just scratched the surface. So we're going to start on the little we know through plasma to go and guide people to using and understanding what I just said about energy. Yeah, all the other stuff, we already know about it. We've already done that for millennia.
No, many people don't know about the animals, how they're tortured.
It doesn't matter. The awareness is coming even without the internet and TV, is what I'm saying. You don't need that.
Well, I watched it, and that was my journey. So.
Yeah, but it's okay. That wasn't mine. I didn't have no internet before. I didn't have no TV, and I got a book.
Okay, a book. I didn't get that book.
Or through a word of mouth. But what I'm saying is you don't need any of that. You don't need the matter state. All we need to do is focus on the spirit side of things, on the energetic. This is what all the spiritual gurus of the past taught. The matter is irrelevant. And what did man go? He went the other way into the matter, and this is where we're at. Because they didn't follow what the spiritual gurus were teaching.
They lost connection to God. Who has faith these days? You go everywhere in the world, all religious countries. Very few people have faith. People have no faith, connection to soul, spirit.
That's why I put the daily 9-second the MasterFast deposit into MasterFast Plasma Bank to peace, balance, correct conduct. That's what MasterFast is all about, that 9 seconds a day. Everything else is a sham, is a facade, is irrelevant, is what I'm telling you. If you understand what I just said right now, the world will be changed tomorrow. Tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes because tomorrow will be today. But this is what it's all about. It's about the plasma fields. The magnetical is the giving, is how creation starts. That thought, intent, emotion of giving. Bang, creation starts. And 5 times more comes back on the receiving end. It's 5 times stronger. Why? Because this is the way creation works. And it's continuously expanding and expanding through the giving. It doesn't happen without that first step of giving. And how does that happen? Through the love, through the intent and emotion. And that's how creation starts and how it works and how I witnessed thousands of frogs being manifested around here when we moved in. It was like a year later. Overnight, there was thousands of frogs. Came out of nowhere. And how another friend of ours and many other people, he experienced, one of the students, fish being created instantaneously because of a rainstorm that were created in puddles that weren't there before, the day before. How do these things happen? How does a forest come from a forest fire? Everything's burned. Where does it come through? It comes through the fields. Because that's how ultimately all matter is created, through fields. We don't believe it, we don't understand it, and we're blind to it. But it's right in front of us all the time. It's right in front of us. Plants are living off fields, not matter. And so are we, but we're too blind to see it. And it doesn't matter whether we believe it or not, it's around us. The planets, like the atom I was talking about, everything's interacting with these fields. Bumblebee, how does it fly? It's not done through matter. There's no way with those little wings. It's impossibility. How's it done? It's done through field interaction. So, if we focus on the spirit side of things, MasterFast will be, the faster MasterFast goes extinct, the faster humanity will be at peace, balance, and correct conduct. That's the way I see it. MasterFast was brought here to go extinct as quickly as possible because peace, balance, and correct conduct is the only way for humanity to go forward. For now, because we're all in this matter state and we've been ingrained and programmed, we're going to use this for the people who choose it. And it works well. It works really well for us that are using this system to come to a new understanding, basically, is what we're doing. Just it's expanding our awareness to a new understanding. How many of us have done it and we don't look at food at the same as before we started at all? It's completely a different psychic to us. Food. We know that food is not the way to health. We know. Once you've done a long mass fast, we know. And the few that resist it and fight it and blame it, that's where they're at, and it's okay. It's not their time yet. But most of us that went through it, we have that understanding. It's not the food. It never was the food. Never will be the food. Can't be the food because we're not made to eat physical foods, as you said earlier. We're not made to eat foods. Physical foods. We've been duped into that physicality of the physical eating somehow, some way, some form. I don't know where it started, Adam and Eve, whatever. It started somewhere. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The plasma came first. And the egg is a perfect plasma. if they've done studies on eggs, as soon as the chicken lays that egg, they tested it for mineral content. Then they, chicken lays the egg, they check it a week later. The mineral content shoots up dramatically. I don't remember how much percent, but it was a lot. Where do those minerals come from in a sealed egg? Where do they come from? They're being created through the plasmatic interaction, like all other matter is being created. See, once we look at things this way in field interaction, everything starts opening up to us. Whoa, wow, okay. What they're saying doesn't make sense as much. So we take a step back and we start asking new questions. That's what I do. I just start asking different questions because what we've been taught doesn't make sense to me at all. It's not correct, and is why it keeps changing in mainstream science. I shared a video of Kesh talking about creation on my page. I think I put it in the Masterfast page, or maybe I didn't. I don't remember. But it's very interesting if you listen to how he describes it. And it's a whole new realm awakens when you look at fields. If we continue to focus on matter, we're not going to come to peace, balance, and correct conduct. We're not going to come through peace, balance, and correct conduct by stop eating animals. We're not going to come through peace, balance, and correct conduct by going vegan. We're not going to go through peace, balance, and correct conduct by any diet. It's a step in the right direction to stop eating animals because we can see that the pain and the suffering. But now we have to think about, there's some studies that have been done with plants that they feel emotions and stuff. And, some people are saying it's bull crap, whatever. Okay, whatever. To you, it's bull crap. So, plants, crystals are living beings. You think crystals don't feel anything? Just because we can't see it? I can assure you they have consciousness and they have emotions just like we do. And I can assure you anything in this realm and everything that's been created does. A rock, a pebble, a grain of sand, a plant, an insect, an animal. When you start looking at it in that sense of fields and all part of one creation and all has emotion and feelings and so on and so forth, we start looking at things a little differently and we'll start interacting with everything a little bit differently. Yeah, we're in this matter state and yeah, we're going to be walking on bugs and killing bugs. But when we have a new consciousness and we have that new understanding, when we take a walk outside, I believe that the bugs are going to move out of the way and we won't step on them. That's where I'm going. That's my understanding.
Well, I totally agree with that.
Well,
but it starts with giving, no? How do you change? How do you become, how do you change?
We mentor people through Masterfast.
We give, right? We give and give information and share information and share the truth that we believe is true.
Yeah, I look at my life growing up and what the things I've done and things I've went through. My God, I'm ashamed of some of the stuff, but hey,
of course. I mean, we all went through our own journeys, and
hey,
what matters is now.
Yeah. So, we look at things a little different than most of the so-called detoxification because the new understanding is why Masterfast came to be. Just a little tiny bit of new understanding is why Masterfast came to be. And it decided to come through me for whatever reason. I'm nobody special. I can't even write. English is my first language. I can't even speak it barely. I can barely write it. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to stuff. When you have that intent and emotion is all that counts. You know, look how many wonderful souls that have turned their lives around with this information and continue to do so. It's just because of that initial intent and emotion of that information having to come through and get it out there to people. Yeah, it's coming through the internet. We're using this stuff and everything, but ultimately, more is happening beyond what we're seeing within the group than what's in the group. I've always said there's more being talked about mass fast outside the group than inside the group. You know, and it's okay. You know, people sharing their experience is wonderful, but the support system stays within the group until we reach that point of exponential growth of peace, balance, correct conduct. The group disintegrates. Master Fast has done its job, and it's extinct. And I could see it happening within our lifetimes if we put enough of our efforts into that. Don't think that your little effort of that little deposit at 4:32 every day is not going to count. Don't doubt that for 1 second. Just do it. Have your alarm set every day and just do it and watch the magic unfold. No matter what happens, no matter they take me out, no matter they take you out, whatever, everybody continue doing it. And it's going to happen. It's because it's already happened. If it's within, it's already out there. It's just the physicality takes a bit of time, that illusion of time, to actually be manifested and for people to see it and feel it and touch it. But that's what we're about. Go ahead.
Just want to mention this, like, what I feel, don't concentrate to give as much information to new people, because by doing that, we torn away. But what the best is, open yourself and shine, be the light, and they attract into that light. But less you push them information, is so many times is more beneficial than just show yourself.
Yeah.
I find that like very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, be the example, but I don't see the harm in questioning our past lives by seeing new information, right?
I'm not arguing with that either,
yeah.
But just be that, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's no point I be telling now, how Master Fast is important, and I haven't really experienced myself.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I could completely understand about that part, but I feel like other things, like the plastic that is being used in the planet, you know, the extra garbage, the consumerism, that there are so many aspects that we can improve, and sharing the information so we can start questioning, oh my God, yeah, I never thought about that. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's what I mean by sharing information that you are not even thinking about, you know, about different countries, what's going on. You know, you don't have to get so much involved, but like just understand that you know, there are other things happening, you know, that we're quite ignorant. The way we're programmed, we're ignorant.
Yeah, but see, I would say it would be much more beneficial if we go outside and pick up rubbish, especially where it's public, and not saying anything. And I think once, twice, they be watching. Yeah. And next thing look what they're doing. They're doing something good. And they be starting probably questioning, well, maybe we should do it too.
Mm.
You know, because we give an example, we showing them. There's no, like, of what I feel, just telling all the time. And
no, you don't want to, definitely, the last thing you want to do is push. The last thing you want to do is push anybody. I don't push anybody to be vegan or to scare them not to eat meat because the animals are suffering. I used to do it, you know, and the plants are suffering too. I'm eating plants, you know, so it's tricky. I mean, I know that, but what I'm saying is that it's still good to share the information. You know, you're not pushing. You don't want to push. You can push. There are people who are pushing. I'm not into that, you know, but share the information. This is what I say. If you want. If you don't want to share, don't share. But if I feel that this is a little bit upsetting and I want to share it with the world, I'm going to do it.
The information.
Because people have no idea. And I want them to have a little bit of an idea. Because, and not only that, I mean, there are many things I can get into. It's just upsetting, you know. I came here. I'm not born and raised here in this country, and I can tell you, the things that I see towards, for example, Muslims, towards Arabs, you know, it's just not in this country only, but all around the world. I mean, what is this, you know? And I want to raise a little bit of awareness. Like, for example, the phrase that I shared about fasting today from the Quran. I mean, many people I have met people here who are talking rubbish about Muslims. And you know, have you ever been to a Muslim home? Have you ever been to an Arabic person's home? I mean, what is this? And you tell me I'm brainwashed? Are you joking? Like, seriously, like, this is what I'm talking about. You know, there are other things. There's food, health. There is also our religion, our faith. There is this, there is that. I mean, there's money as well, the financial system. There is the governments and our science and research and schools. And you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. It's just...
focus on the spirit. All that.
There is a mess everywhere, you know? Everywhere you look, it's messy. And yes, but if somebody is going to say something about my culture or my religion, not that I'm religious, but I'm going to speak back because it's enough. It's enough.
How are you going to?
It's enough. No, if when somebody talks something to me, I'm going to talk back to them. Or sometimes I would, you know, if there's a comment, I would delete and block the person because I don't have time for this negativity.
It just creates resistance.
I'm not fighting back. You see, I don't fight back. I'm not into that. I can fight back, but I choose not to.
We go within, and it affects the change. There's no other way. The other ways they've been doing them and they don't work, and they will never work because it's done through ourselves because we're a reflection of the whole, and the giving is the initiation of all creation. So, all that information, putting your energy toward that is futile in my eyes, from what I understand. Futile. People are doing it, and they're doing it. It's the consciousness that needs to change, and that's done through fields, through the understanding within those fields. That's why, you know, so many people get all kinds of comments when they're on these fasts. What's happening is the other souls are picking up those strong fields from the other people fast, and then you're having to make these comments, oh, you're too skinny, and you're too that, and you're too that, because it's a resistant thing for their own physicality, and they're not ready to change. And they don't want to see that because their soul's knocking on the door, and it's uncomfortable to them, so they got to plug themselves up, and they want you to plug yourself up so they don't have to feel that. That's what's happening. So as that keeps, more and more people keep doing that, finally their soul's going to say, buddy, get up. It's time. And then we start seeing the change one at a time, the next person, and exponential starts happening. This is clear to me how it works. If anybody can see a better way to bring change, I'm all ears, because I've been around and all these things that people have done, they don't work. They don't work. Gandhi, one man, did it through intent and emotion, non-violence. Thousands of people got beaten up because they just wouldn't fight back. Eventually, it got changed. They had no choice. But you know, we've been in program pretty deep, and we've been enslaved for so long. As I said, food, I believe, is the first form of enslavement, then paper, which includes all man's laws and money. So, yeah, we're living, we need to use and everything, but all that, eventually it's got to disappear. You know, if you looked at the old Star Trek stuff, they never had no money. They outgrew it. They didn't need it. They're living in peace. Balance and correct conduct. So, anyway, been babbling long enough. Holy jeez, it's 9:30. I gotta get going. So we'll bring it to a close. It's been wonderful for people to express all their, information and shed their light. This is why we're here. And the more people share, the stronger the fields get. That's what I see clearly. In the meantime, keep massive fasting. Because we know where we're going and what we're doing out there. Sign the peace treaty, Keshe Foundation's peace treaty for your soul. That's what that's for. There's nothing to do with physicality. It's so you will never ever be involved in anything to do with war, basically. So, anybody who's involved in the manufacture, in the creation of anything to do with weapons and anything, they are responsible at the soul level for anything that their products kill. Just imagine having that responsibility. Not for me. No way, man. You make one gun and that gun goes in hands for years and years. You're responsible for all the killings that gun has done. Can you imagine somebody who created the atomic bomb? That's or whatever. Any of the killing machines. That's not something that I could live with myself. Each one's going to have to make their own decision. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Well, it's got that repercussion at the soul level, which is far more important to me than the physical part of it. And once ourselves as souls start to see that, there's no alternative but peace, balance, correct conduct. From my understanding, these souls will be scattered in pieces throughout the universe until they come to balance. It could be, many, many millions of years that create imbalance, that are here that are just creating imbalance. So do you want to live that? I surely don't. I pray and I'm doing what I can to help as many people come back to balance from whatever I've done, because I'm not perfect and never was. So we just do our best to help as many souls see the light and live to peace, balance, correct conduct. Because ultimately, I don't want to be scattered throughout the universe for millions of years. I want to enjoy the creation in all its forms and its beauty with all the other souls. So we'll call it a close, people, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the page. Call it a night. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I know it's late for some of you, and appreciate it so much. Ciao. Keep that plasma love flowing. Bye. Good night. Good day. Good morning.